So I was thinking, well, what do I really enjoy watching? I really enjoy watching people's monthly checkups or check-ins, monthly favorites, mid-month check-in. So I'm doing a mid-month check-in. So let me start by saying I'm in a bit of a mood. So I apologize in advance. I may come across a little harsh, abrupt, pissed off. I'm sorry. I'm in a bit of a mood. I think many can relate. So I want to share with you some things I've been enjoying, some things I received this month in the mail, some things I've been enjoying, so on, so forth. So I'll start with something I received. Surprise. The lovely Susan at the Entropy Apothecary. See, now I'm questioning myself, second guessing whether I got her name right. It's that kind of day. Surprised me with these candles. Oh my god, people. First of all, I didn't know that these were still in production, and I got pretty excited. These are I think the name is Coventry Creations, and I'm so excited because I have some vintage ones that I hang on to for that special occasion, which is also something I'm talking about today. From 20 years ago, from Coventry Creations, and I posted it on Instagram. She contacted me and said, look, here's a link, they still exist. I got all excited, and then out of nowhere, months later, she surprised me with some. So I'm pretty happy with this. Thank you so much. She included in this parcel this this cool bag. Check it out. And in the bag were some tarot cards, which I'm not going to share because they were spot on. I don't know by which process she selected these cards, but just so you know, Susan, they were spot on. This lovely quartz crystal, which quartz crystal is my favorite. Like, anyway, love it. It feels really nice too. In this bag with those cards that I'm not going to share. And which brings me to the next thing I want to talk about, which is something I've been really enjoying this month since I finally organized it. And I was actually surprised that not all my stuff fits in here. So months and months ago, I featured this, I think, in a thrift store haul, or in a monthly favorites haul, where I got this from the 1990s bag. It was, I guess it's a men's European carry-all, as they called it on Seinfeld, for $2. I don't know, it was either $2 or $4. It was something stupid. I had seen it one day, and I didn't pick it up because I couldn't think of a use for it. And then I saw it a month later, and it was still there. And that day, I thought, I might be able to use that for something. It's still here. I think it started at $4, and then it was $2 the day I picked it up. But anyway, so at the end of last month, or early this month, I want to say it was at the end of last month, I finally got all my saint magic or saint stuff. So some of you may be familiar with this guy. This is my little saint kit that I've had probably my whole life, with my most worked with saints prayer cards. So what I did is I had this, I still have it, this stylized shoebox, right? Storage box. It's the shape of a shoebox, and it's got corduroy on the outside and full leather trim and everything. Where I keep all my sacramentals. And I really thought that all those sacramentals are going to fit in here. No, I still have more in that little shoebox. But I'm going to try to show you what I was able to do with this bag, which makes me really happy. So here I have the plastic saint cards of the saints I work the most with. Here I have my Saint Michael, which this is I think this is Padre Pio or Saint Pio. Let me see. Yeah, it is. Recognize that snoot anywhere. This is a card that was sent to me by Susan at the Entropy Apothecary. I don't know why I have a hard time, pronouncing that. And it's a prayer to Saint Clare. This I'm sharing with you. Tarot cards I'm not. They were spot on. Let me see. Oh, up here I have some antique sacramentals that I had scored at a thrift store. Miraculous metal. So yeah, I'm really liking how this turned out, and it doesn't fit everything, and I'm like surprised it doesn't fit everything. I didn't realize how much stuff I had. Like really, I thought that it was quite an eye opener to me, because I thought that this was my saint kit, but it turns out I have quite a collection of stuff that I utilize. So yeah, so here, let me try. Oh my god. So there's one pocket. And here I have all my rosary beads and my How to Pray the Rosary book. In a video a while back, I shared my rosary bead collection, so to speak. Basically, rosary beads that are given to me, either I received as a gift, or I found at thrift stores, or literally just found. Some of them I just found on the street. Some were passed down to me from relatives. So here, this is. And I have a whole bunch of them. I don't know, there's probably a dozen of them in this whole old change purse. Look at that, it's got ballpoint pen mark on it. I've had this little change purse since I was like probably 5. I've just been loving having all my stuff. This is a little pouch that I purchased for it, but these are the rosary beads that my Zio brought with him from Naples when he immigrated to Canada. Given to him by his mom to keep him safe. So that's the rosary beads are in that pocket. I know this is like such a weird way of showing you. So there's all these compartments, right, which is really cool. So I have saint medals in a front pocket here. So here I have saint medals and keychains and stuff like that. The front pocket that was designed for glasses doesn't have anything in it yet. I'm looking for a slender bottle to keep my holy water, because I do have one, but it's a little wide and it doesn't fit. It's not the right shape for this. So I'm just looking for like the right shape bottle to keep holy water in. Yeah. I don't know why I was looking over there. Anyway. And on the back, this was designed for cell phones in the 90s. And in here I keep my Voices of Saints deck by Lo Scarabeo. Fits perfectly with the tuck box, imagine. So yeah, so I've been really enjoying this. It has such a nice energy because all this stuff is in here. I reach for it when I need something for saint magic or prayer or whatever, comfort. And I still have a box for overflow because my prayer books don't fit in here. My books of Psalms, prayers, some other stuff in there. Yeah. So, all my, yeah. You know what I'm saying. Prayer books and whatever don't fit in here. They probably do. I could probably fit some in here, but right now they're living in the overflow box that's on the shelves above my desk. So I've been really, like I said, I've been really enjoying this. I think I want to get something or pull one of my keychains or whatever and hang it off of here, or just leave it nondescript the way it is. Once I find the right size and shape bottle for holy water, that'll go in here. I also need a proper bottle for my holy oil because I don't want that spilling or seeping. And then I can add my holy water, holy oil. I do have my salt, my sea salt in a little jar that probably fits in here, or I'm gonna get one of those craft jars. I'm not sure yet, but there still needs to be a few things in here to make it complete. And yeah, so it's gonna be like my kit, or that's what it's shaping up to be, my kit to do my thing, my Italian folk magic thing. All right. Next thing. Oh my goodness. So I had been pining. Oh no. Should I talk about stuff? Okay, one more thing. So I've been enjoying this because, comforting, right? Another thing I went back to after so many months is my journal. So this was supposed to be, this had started out as a tarot journal. It turns out that tarot journaling is not me. But I just went back to it as a proper journal. And a lot of the magic that I do, a lot of the manifestation magic that I do, or, you know what I'm saying, right? The spell work that I do involves writing it down. And whether it's a purification ritual to basically unburden myself and write it down when there's things that I feel burdened, or I had a really, really heavy day. It's been a whole heavy year so far, but I had I don't know if you can, I don't know if that's the right word, but the best way I could describe it, I had a very heavy day this past week where I'm glad I thought of opening up my book and writing about it. And then I was able to work through what I wrote about. And, things like your fears and worries and all those dark thoughts. It's good to get them out. And it's good to get them out in writing, because there's something about it's like you're downloading it. You're downloading it, but also at the same time it's like you're emptying it. Sorry, it's a little chilly today, and I'm wearing my my fancy IKEA blanket as a cape. There's something about when you write all these things down. Some people like to burn them. I like to write them in a book. And sometimes, instead of burning them, I just cover them up with tissue paper. So I didn't do that here. But this would be an example where I may want to, if I do purge thoughts, worries, all that stuff, fears, I may want to cover it with something afterwards, but I typically don't. And if I'm wanting to do a ritual, sometimes I write it on paper and just burn it. So there's different ways of doing it. So I went back to my journal, and I also, and after that, you know, during that heavy day when I let all that out, it was really good, and it was good for me. It was very beneficial. And then after that, I started journaling about gratitude. So I started, you know, so right now it's the most recent thing in here was a gratitude entry, and I'll just keep doing that. And I have to say that it helps a lot. Now, in previous videos, I don't even know when I mentioned this, probably months ago, I talked about how I do have journals where they are solely for creating, and it's basically the similar kind of process where you you write about a current situation that you are unhappy in, or you would like to change, and you write about it in the present tense, of course, as you're experiencing it. And then once you get that off your chest and complain about everything, and you know, to the point of where, you know, suppose I'll give you an example, as you know, that is very relatable. Suppose you hate your job. Well, write down everything you hate about your job, everything, and then write down why you won't leave. Whether it's your fears of not finding another job, or whether you may surprise yourself and find that there's and this goes for relationships too. You may surprise yourself and find out that the reasons why you don't leave are the reasons you really should stay. So you know what I mean? It's quite fascinating, and I just love doing that. Also, if there's changes you want to make in your life, write about them. Write about them in the present tense, in a journal dedicated for that, for manifestation, and then just watch your life play out the way you write it. It's something else. And if you're interested in me doing a video dedicated just to that, leave a comment down below. I'd be happy to. I call that Magic 101, because it's not woo as in the parlance of today. It's not. It's metaphysical, but it's approachable for everybody. You know what I mean? You don't have to. It straddles that line between metaphysical and psychological, and I think it's accessible for everybody. All right, so something I've been enjoying again this month after so long is my journal. The next thing is a book. So months ago, it seems like yesterday, but months ago. So let's start with February. So February, Shamanic Arawak Priestess did 29 Days of Melanated Excellence, which if you didn't watch it, I highly recommend it. It's so educational, but at the same time, it's just freaking fascinating. You know what I mean? So I think around the same time, the Hoodoo Tarot was released. And Oya's Girl, which is the channel, Queen Ossette's channel, she did a review of the Hoodoo Tarot and featured books that I don't remember because it was a few months ago, but I think she featured also good books, like, you know, if you're interested in hoodoo, just like I do with Italian folk magic, well, you know, you should really be reading these books as well, because, you know, it'll put things in, you know, place things in context, give you context. So I made note of all the books that she recommended, and I think some of them may be in the bibliography of the Hoodoo Tarot. So there was one, because I'm all about instant gratification, there was one that I was able to get right away on Kindle, and it's this one. So if you can't make it out, I'll read it to you. It's An Herbal Guide to Natural Living, and the title is Four Seasons of Mojo by Stephanie Rosebird. So I have all of Stephanie Rosebird's books on my wish list, but this one I was able to, like, instant gratification, get on my Kindle. On my Kindle, what is Paperwhite or something like that? Anyway, and it's totally my thing, right? It's a beautiful book. Sorry, I got drawn into it. Anyway, this is the next page, and that's the author. What a beautiful picture. So about the author, a spirituality and health writer, educator, and visionary artist, Stephanie Rosebird is also a solitary green witch, hereditary intuitive, and contemporary root worker. Bird holds an MFA from UC San Diego and is the author of Sticks, Stones, Roots, and Bones, which is the next book I'm going to get. But, oh my gosh, people, I love this book. And if you're into any kind of, like, if you're into any kind of natural magic, I highly recommend this. It's just wonderful. All right, so I've been really enjoying that. I know that's a terrible book review, but this is like a mid-month check-in of stuff of things I'm enjoying. I'm only halfway through, so when I'm done reading it, and if, like, book reviews are something you're interested in, well, or I'm interested, I kind of am interested in book reviews, but anyway, I will definitely talk about it when I'm done with it. I don't know why I'm holding up my Kindle. It's like, anyway, here, sorry. I will definitely talk about it when I'm done with it. But so far I'm loving it. It's feeding my soul, people. It's feeding my soul. Another thing I've been really enjoying, and this is, like, not new, but, you know, I like to escape into time travel. Bear with me. YouTube is a freaking time machine, and it's one of my favorite activities on YouTube. You know, there's the watching videos of things I'm interested in. So I watch videos of tarot and a little bit of witchcraft here and there. Mostly folk magic is what I'm interested in. So, you know, I watch videos by people who produce content on folk magic and of different types of folk magic, because to me, I just love how just like religion, folk magic, you could see that the common threads, doesn't matter what culture it is, you see the common threads, and I just love it. And then the cultural differences. But I also love YouTube to time travel through and I time travel through music and television commercials. And last weekend I spent a lot of time in the 70s. Now, I was a child in the 70s. I was born in the late 60s, so I was a child in the 70s. But for whatever reason, I'm drawn back to the 1970s, but from an adult perspective, whether it's music, fashion, hair, makeup. My personal makeup style is very 1970s. And it ranges from early 70s to late 70s, depending on, you know, the where I'm going and what I'm doing. Today I have a 1970s makeup look on. This is like a very basic look for me. It's like my go-to. It's hard to tell because I don't make myself up for the camera, right? So I may look washed out and look like I'm not wearing any, or not wearing just a little bit. But it's the, you know, the strong eyes and the strong blusher and So I've been spending some time on YouTube, watching that kind of stuff. Um, I love watching 1970s TV commercials. And last week on the weekend, I was watching a lot of Soul Train because where I grew up, the household I grew up in, we didn't get cable until 1980, and so and there's all these episodes of Soul Train on and other music kind of TV shows, but the one I was watching a lot last weekend was Soul Train. And then, it was sad because there I was in the middle of the mid 70s, hanging out in the 70s on Soul Train, on YouTube with Soul Train. And then, I think it was on Monday that the news broke that Bonnie Pointer had died. Bonnie Pointer of the Pointer Sisters. So, I don't know, that kind of struck me a little bit, right? For me, it's like she was... It's like I spent the weekend hanging out with her. And then she was gone. So, yeah. But I do want to, if you're one of those people that you enjoy time travel as a concept or as an activity, time travel through YouTube, it is, I don't know, I always enjoy it. So now let's talk about decks. So there's 2 decks I received in the mail this month. One of them has been on my wish list since I first saw it. I think it was it may have been at a New Age store in Montreal in the 80s. May have been the late 80s, early 90s. It was behind a glass case, and it was outrageously expensive because I had no money. I had no job, I had no money. I'm trying to think, did I have a job? I probably didn't. And I looked high and low for this, and then I couldn't find it anywhere because I didn't know what, I didn't understand why I couldn't find it. Now I know it's independently produced. But it's the Daughters of the Moon Tarot. I have the Mother Peace Tarot. I had the Mother Peace Tarot in the 80s. Didn't get it. So I gave it away, or I don't know what I did with it. I had the Mother Peace Tarot in the 80s, and then I gave it away. I want to say in the early 90s. And now I have the same vintage of the one that I had, and I featured it in the video. But oh my god, I was pining for these people. This had been on my wish list, has been on my wish list for decades, and I was so happy to be able to obtain it. I contacted the creator. Well, I didn't really contact them because they never got back to me. I emailed the creator because it was available. It is available. But when I put it in my cart to Canada, I mentioned this in a previous video, and this is how I ended up getting this one. Postage to Canada rang up at $66 American. That's almost that's like $80-$90 Canadian. The exchange rate then. Imagine, from America. Anyway, I digress. Soul Shines 8 contacted me and said she had one for sale. She'd sell me hers. And she didn't charge me $66 shipping. She charged me like what the shipping was. And so I was like so freaking excited. I had no idea though that this thing was going to be brand new. So thank you, Soul Shines 8. Oh my god. It's like, I don't know, it's brand new. People, it's brand new. This deck is very, very feminist. This deck is even more feminist. More so than the Mother Peace. the colors are just incredible. And it does, I think it was originally in black and white. And I know that Earth Fairy has featured her black and white copy. Like, she has a few copies of this deck. But anyway, the artwork. I love the artwork on these cards. I love the size of them. I love that they're round. Nudity alert. I just love the general vibe of this deck. The guidebook is a little... See, I'm not... the guidebook is a little... it's very feminist. It's a little much for my headspace. But I don't care. I can overlook that. I'm happy to have the guidebook, because, you know, there's some good stuff in this guidebook, and I'm able to discern and take what resonates and then leave the rest, so to speak. I just opened it up on a quote by on a quote from the Feminist Book of Light and Shadows by Z Budapest. I'm not going to go into that right now, but I will say that I do have her book, Grandmother of Time, and I'm not sure I'm going to hang on to it. I think it might be a first edition too, but I think I might do a video where I talk about books that are leaving my bookshelf, and then if anyone wants them, you're welcome to send me a message. So I'm just so happy to have this deck finally. I'm so happy that the person that it came from is just such a kind soul. I think since I got it, I think I just pulled one card, and yeah, it gave me a lot to chew on for a few days. So it did not disappoint. Then there's, I don't know, there's just something about this. Oh my God, Conde Bell. I love this. Okay, one more. So yeah, so very happy, and it was packaged with such care. I think she started a Facebook page where she's going to be selling off some of her tarot and oracle decks. I think it's both tarot and oracle decks. And honestly, what I'm going to do is, I hope I remember to link it in the box below. Honestly, this is a person to buy from, because everything was wrapped with such care. It arrived, you know, in a bubble envelope, completely brand new looking. Like, it, you know how Amazon just tosses it in the envelope and it shows up at your house. It's been banging around. No, not at all with this. And she included a little, like a mojo bag for luck, for its travel. And, oh, one of the items are not here. One of the items is not here, and I'm going to go get it. So I'm just going to pause this quickly, and I'll be right back. And I'm back. Okay. I found it. So, like I was saying, the Daughters of the Moon deck and book, Soul Shines 8, included a little mojo bag so that it would arrive safely with some lucky things in it. The bag is adorable. Being American, I really appreciate it. And so I'm going to just put everything in the bag, and then I'll take everything out and show you what's in it. So this is what arrived. This cute little bag. Oh my God. Stop it. Arrived tucked in with the bag, with the deck and the book. And it just smells incredible. Like, it smelled so incredible that it was like, it filled my office for like 2 weeks. Now it's a little faint, but it filled my office for 2 weeks. In it was a little piece of Palo Santo. This is what I went to retrieve because I put it in a safe place because I love it. I love the ocean, and this is a little bracelet with a little cowrie shell and little tassel. I love this. Thank you. So thoughtful. Oh my gosh. There's a rock in here, people. Like a rock. Look at this. I love it. I don't even know what it is, and I love it. And then the cutest thing I've ever seen. So I don't know if this is moss agate, but it's painted like an Easter, and it's the shape of an Easter egg, or a shape of an egg, right? Looks like the shape of a quail's egg, actually, and it's painted. Oh. Thank you, Soul Shines 8. Yes, it arrived safely, and she's going to be listing some decks for sale, which I look forward to perusing when she does. And yeah, she takes very special care in wrapping things, so yeah, very happy. Thank you again. The other deck I received in the mail was from one of the, it's a Facebook group. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I gotta tell you, people, it's like my mind is like, it was a Facebook group for Canadian tarot and oracle trades and sales. Specifically Canadian. I'm glad this group exists. There's a reason we need this group. It's because when it comes to trading and selling anything, trading, selling, Canadians always get the raw deal. Americans won't ship to Canada. Most Americans, like, I'm generalizing because, you know, it's true, okay? But typically Americans will not ship to Canada because there's a misconception that it's international shipping, yet they'll ship to Australia and the UK. So I'm talking about like my experience with perfume trades, perfume and makeup trades and sales, that trades specifically swapping that I used to do back in the day on Makeup Alley, where there's always this thing where, oh, you're in Canada, sorry, I can't ship there. With fragrances, it's always, oh, well, you're in Canada and I can't ship hazardous goods and stuff like that, and perfume is a hazardous good. All I'm going to say is our postal service has no problem shipping us stuff from Sephora that's fragrance or nail polish, or Shoppers Drug Mart, or Lancome, or Lise Wattier, or Estee Lauder, or, you know what I mean? It's like Amazon. But anyway, I'm going off topic, but it's just annoying to me because, you know, being both American and Canadian, I've been on both sides. I have shipped from both sides. It's not that complicated, but it kind of becomes complicated online. So I get it. Now, the difference is, see, in America, people could just ship stuff from their house. They just print it up from from the USPS website and drop it off at the post office. In Canada, you have to take it to the post office, stand in line, declare what it is. Then there, they make you fill out a whole other form. So all these little inconveniences make it very difficult for trading for Canadians. So I was really happy that I found a group with Canadian trades and sales. and straightforward. I was also happy that someone had listed their Gaian Tarot for sale or trade, but they were listing it for sale, and I figured I'm gonna buy it because it cost as much or even less than buying the current one by Schiffer. Now I have on my wish list, or may have removed it by now, but the Gaian Tarot printed by Llewellyn. Not because I have a problem with Schiffer. I think Schiffer is incredible. First of all, their customer service is amazing. I love two decks I got that are printed by Schiffer. One of them is Tarot of the She, which I own 2 copies, and the Marielle Tarot, which I purchased 2 copies. One that I had moved on, and then the second one. My Marielle is the first edition. And so it's not like I was eventually probably going to get the Schiffer one, but I had seen online the one by Llewellyn, which was smaller cards and stuff like that. Anyway, this, long story short, it's in French. I'm fluent in French, so I don't care. Another deck that's still available, widely available, if you don't mind that's in French, is the Victorian Fairy Tarot by Linnea Weatherstone. Yeah, the Victorian Fairy Tarot is still available in French. Full guidebook, deck, the whole enchilada. So if that's something you want and you're okay with it being in French, I highly recommend it. Also, you know what? You can get the phone app in English, and the full guidebook is on the phone app. So at least you have the cards for the imagery. But anyway, back to the one I got. I'm so happy. This box is really nice. So this is published by Edition ADA, ADAincorporated.com. You know, the new box that Llewellyn. I'm guessing that this is a little older than the new boxes by Llewellyn, so nice, right? The guidebook. So this imagery I'd never seen, like on the cover of the Gaian Tarot. So I thought that was beautiful. And here's the full guidebook. Very nice. The pictures are in color, like the thumbnails are in color. And these are the cards. So I don't remember what the Llewellyn cards looked like in terms of backs, but these are the French ones. And I got the French one because Diane Jarecki, Indigo Moon Woman, loves her French Gaian Tarot, and she had featured it in a recent video that I watched. I know she's mentioned it before, but she had it in her hands in a recent video, and it was just like serendipitous that I found it. I think it was the same weekend. These are the backs. Mine are still in order because these have hardly been used. They have a little bit of an imperfection where some of the cards are taller, just a millimeter taller, but I can overlook that once they're shuffled, whatever. But some of the corners are badly cut, so I went over with my corner rounder and fixed them. And that's like a publishing thing, right? Same cards, just in French. I had wanted, for some time, I had wanted a more modern tarot deck to work with. And like with more modern imagery, more modern is the wrong word, contemporary. I wanted a more contemporary tarot deck that reflected contemporary life. And I'm a little fussy. Like if it's too trendy, or too like trendy. I don't even know how to describe it. But you know, like the Lightseers Tarot was a little too boho for me, and boho is totally not my thing. So I couldn't relate to the people in the images at all. Um, some tarot decks, they're just not for me. There's nothing wrong with them, but I just feel like the Next World Tarot is trying too hard. There's the one by Poppy Palin that there's something about it too that I find, for my taste, is trying too hard. Whereas the people in these images, the people in these images, they're relatable. Also, they're not photographs and they're not caricatures. They appear to be either painted or drawn from actual photographs. There's also another thing that this deck does that I love it in a Stephen Farmer deck that I have. I think it's Power Animals, is that the image goes beyond the border, or like, you know, creeps into the border like that. I love that. Oh my god, I love this card. The Tower. So this is the French translation of the Gaian Tarot, and I'm so thrilled to have it that I was going to pull the trigger on the Herbal Tarot. I think I even stated on Instagram that I did, but it looked like it was shipping from, I don't know, like a third-party seller, so I'll wait to see if I could get it either from a metaphysical store that they'll ship to me, or I'll just wait. But I'm definitely now wanting to get the Herbal Tarot because I just love what I've seen so far of this Gaian Tarot. I would have eventually gotten the Schiffer one, but it was really nice. Look at this, oh my god. It was really nice to get the 5 of water. Like, look at that expression. For 5 of water. Yeah. So I'm so happy to have this. And it's the right kind of contemporary deck for me. Again, like I had looked at other ones. I think This Might Hurt as well was like, the title already rubbed me the wrong way. But you know me, if you've been watching me for 5 minutes, I'm a little fussy. All right, the last deck I wanted to share with you is one that I picked up the last couple of weeks or so, like this month. So I have the decks that I'm working, like doing my daily draws or whatever with. That kind of like the day-to-day stuff, the daily stuff with. And it's the Tarot of the She, Tarot of Trees, and the Plant Spirit Oracle. Both Tarot of Trees and Plant Spirit Oracle are by Dana O'Driscoll. So I'm enjoying those a lot. But I felt like I needed to pull this guy out. So I have two. I have this one, the first edition, and I also have the one that's currently available. I have to say, see, I love them both. I wouldn't be able to like get rid of one. The current one has better cardstock, more durable cardstock. I keep it in this leopard print bag. This is the first edition. This I got at Daiso. Daiso is a Japanese kind of dollar store. Yeah, it's like a Japanese dollar store. I think I got this one when we went to Seattle years ago at Daiso, and there's also Daiso in Richmond in British Columbia. And yeah, I miss Daiso. It's on my list of places I want to go to once the world goes back to whatever, right? I have been working with this deck. And this deck, the difference I find between the first edition and the current edition, The biggest difference really is artistically, like it looks, the layout is different. I also find that the images, there's something about having like these lighter borders that make it easier to see the photograph of the animal. I don't know, it's just easier on the eyes. I find the current edition a little bit dark, but at the same time, I like the cardstock because this cardstock makes, like, I have to keep it in a bag that has a satin lining and I'm a little precious with it because this is the kind of cardstock that could easily crease. This is the kind of cardstock that could get, I find, although it's not thin, because this is actually thicker than my current edition, in terms of, like, the deck is thicker, so obviously the cardstock is thicker. But the other one has that plastic coated, or like it's almost like playing cards. Riffle shuffles really smoothly. That's the one, like this one would stay at home. That's the one I would take with me if I wanted to use that one. Like the other edition, like the modern one, is the one I would keep in my bag to take with me. I wouldn't take this one with me for fear that something bad would happen to one of these cards. Oh my god, people. Took me forever to get to the point. But I'm only missing one of Ted Andrews' divination things. I have the Animal Wise Tarot, two editions. I have Feathered Omens, which is birds. Nature Speak is another oracle, so those two oracles. All I'm missing is his animal runes. I haven't been able to source them. So yeah, they're on a list. If I come across them in my travels, virtual or otherwise, I am going to want to have his animal runes just to, complete my little Ted Andrews collection. I have quite a few of his books, which I'm rereading and totally enjoying. What I'm really enjoying, the one I'm currently rereading, I'm almost done, is the one about spirit guides. How to connect to your spirit guides, or how to speak with your spirit guides. There's some stuff in there that's like, no. And that's the part I'm enjoying about the book, because there's the stuff that really resonates with me, and then the stuff that doesn't, it's like, no. And it makes me laugh out loud. But this deck, the guidebooks I think the guidebooks are pretty identical. The first edition and the current one. The guidebook is really, really, really good. I think, see, I had the Gaian Tarot, which I passed on to my daughter, for the kind of in-depth introspection that the guidebook provides in terms of writing for this. Like, this is what I get. I get the same thing from this, but it's more my vibe. And so yeah, so if you want to know what's the guidebook like, the guidebook is, it's kind of like Dreams of Gaia, only it's more of earth-based. Dreams of Gaia is very psychological and a little cosmic. This is very earthy. And this is very spiritual and earthy at the same time. So, yeah. So I've been really enjoying my Animal Wise Tarot. Look at the backs. The backs are basically the emblem of the publisher, Dragonhawk Publishing. And yeah. Keep it in my bag from Daiso. Did I mention I miss Daiso? I miss a lot of, I miss thrift shopping. I'm sure we all miss a lot of things. All right, well, I think that was it for I think I've gotten to the end of everything I wanted to share with my mid-month check-in, see what's happening, things I'm enjoying, things I'm doing. To those of you still at home, hang in there. To those of you like me, working because you're an essential service, hang in there. And I'll talk to you soon in the next video. Thanks, and wherever you are, have a beautiful day.